All right, so if you're looking to my stage left, you might notice that we have our canine companions that are hanging out, and it is time for that special part of the NADA show. It's part of a tradition that we continue to move forward on. So this is the Canine Companions and the NADA Foundation auction, the final results. So I've got the final number of how much was raised this year. I'm going to tell you at the end. I'm not going to tell you right now. So I'm going to hold it, but at the end I'm going to tell you because it's an exciting, it's a big number, it's an exciting number. But please help me in welcoming up Cheryl Ishizaki, who is the Manager of Corporate and Foundation Relations for Canine Companions. She is joined by Skylin Brown, who is the client speaker of Hearing Graduate, and Service Dog Kaylin. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
Thank you. So on behalf of Canine Companions, we extend our deepest gratitude. Thank you to Open Lane for sponsoring this exciting auction package and to the NADA Foundation for so many years of generous support for our mission. Canine Companions provides expertly trained service dogs to adults, children, and veterans with disabilities, as well as facility dogs to professionals working in healthcare, criminal justice, and educational settings. Since our founding in 1975, every dog and all follow-up services have been provided entirely free of charge to our clients. It is now my pleasure to introduce one of our remarkable clients. Please join me in welcoming Skylin Brown and her hearing service dog, Kaylin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Skylin. I am the hearing service dog handler for Kaylin. So just to give a little bit of background of who I am a fourth-year audiology resident that works at the VA hospital here in Las Vegas. So I kind of grew up knowing about service dogs my whole life, and I've always admired them, but I never realized just how much one could actually benefit me. I grew up hard of hearing and wore hearing aids pretty much all of my life. And then when I was 19 years old, I got my first cochlear implant. The cochlear implant changed my life in one way, but in another way, without my cochlear implant and my hearing aid, there were a lot of things that I could not hear. For example, my smoke alarm going off in the night, someone knocking on my door, someone ringing my doorbell, and even my alarm in the mornings. Those were all things that when I was admiring service dogs growing up, I didn't realize there would be one for me who could help me just as much. And so about 3 years ago, my first year of audiology school, we had a lesson about hearing service dogs, and I had actually met a trainer who works for Canine Companions who was also deaf and introduced me to hearing service dogs. Of course, it piqued my interest. I went ahead and applied, and here we are 3 years later, and I'm almost a year into being matched with Kaylin. I want to take a minute to express what Kaylin's been able to do for me that I had never thought might not be possible for me, but also things that I always worried about and wondered if I would ever be able to do it as an independent person. So like I mentioned before, I can't hear my alarm in the morning. So during school, my parents always had to wake me up. Now they make the bed shaker alarms, and that can definitely help some, but you're kind of screwed if it falls off the bed because then you can't feel it. And that had happened a time or two. So that's where Kaylin comes in every single morning when she hears my alarm, and she jumps up on the bed and she takes her paw and she just aggressively and so gently just taps me with her paw to wake me up. So that's not how they typically alert, but Kaylin was smart enough to figure out when we got home that her little nose boops that they normally do wasn't going to wake me up from a dead sleep. And so she took it upon herself to figure out how to get me awake, and she uses her paw. So every morning, that's the first thing I get woke up to is a wet nose and a paw on me, and it's quite nice, actually. The other thing that's the most helpful for me is the smoke alarm. I had always wondered, even now, before I got her and as an adult in my first apartment, if my smoke alarm goes off in the night, I would never hear that. And that was something really concerning, not only for me, but for my family as well as a woman who would live alone. So then, that's what Kaylin does. When she comes into the picture, that smoke alarm goes off, and that's one of her most exciting tasks that she has. She has figured out that that one is one that we don't play around about. And I'm actually going to demonstrate that one for you guys here in just a minute as well, and it is so worth seeing. You good? Okay. So another thing that I want to just kind of point out is all of these things are things that would not be possible for me without having Kaylin. And for that, I am so grateful for Canine Companions and the fact that it might have taken a long process, but Canine Companions was able to donate her to me. I did not have to pay out of pocket for this, and I think that is just amazing because Canine Companions put so much work and time and training into all of these dogs. And that wouldn't even be possible without all of our amazing sponsors that help make this possible, including the Open Lane today and the NADA. You guys make this possible for all of us. And just for the impact that she's had on me as someone who has an invisible disability, I can't imagine all the difference she makes for the people who truly, really need physical disability dogs as well. And thank you guys. And if you'll give me just a second, we'll get set up and I can demonstrate one of her tasks for you. If I could get everyone to kind of quiet down just a little bit, if we can, right here, and we'll demonstrate really quick. This is a recording that I have of my own smoke alarm at home. This is how I used it to train her before I was comfortable going to sleep at night without anything around. So we recorded the smoke alarm at home, trained it during the day. I would wake her up from naps doing it until she got the hint that anytime you hear that, you come find me. And so here we go. I want to quickly point out that typically when the hearing service dogs alert us, their job is to let us know there's a sound, similar to how she just alerted me, and then their job is to take me to the sound. So whether that's my alarm or even a cooking timer going off, whatever the sound is, her job is to take me to it. However, we don't want our dogs running into fire. So kind of like we grew up learning stop, drop, and roll, it's kind of the same concept for her. She stops what she's doing, she lets me know, and she drops. And that is how we know what's going on. I'm going to keep talking for a second and just kind of move away. She knows we're doing some tricks right now, so she's just waiting. I'm going to see if she does this for us again without her knowing my phone is about to go off. What? Good job. Good job. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen, and thank you to all of our amazing sponsors because you guys do not understand the impact that these dogs have on all of us recipients and clients. It is amazing, and our lives are truly changed for the better. And I want to give a special shout out to our puppy raisers. Our puppy raisers put so much volunteer time into raising these dogs. They keep them from about 8 weeks old to 18 months, teaching them all of the basic skills, obedience, everything that's needed before they even get turned in for the puppy dog service dog school. And I think that is amazing because without them, there would be no dogs at service dog school. So we are really appreciative for them and thank them for all the work that they put in. And it always is a bittersweet day on graduation day when they hand over their work to a handler. So thank you guys, and thank you to Canine Companions.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now I promised you that I was going to tell you the number, but here's the great news. You too can actually add to the number I'm about to read. If you would like to add to the number, Canine for Companions are going to be right over to the side. There's still time to make donations to make the number even bigger than what it is already. Are you ready for the number? All right. So this year, they raised $109,252,000. That is absolutely amazing, and that is an increase of over $30,000 from last year. It is absolutely exciting, absolutely amazing, and as you all heard firsthand, it is absolutely beneficial, crucial, and important to so many people that the lives they change through your donations and your giving. So once again, let's give everyone a round of applause to our handlers, also to our puppy raisers, and of course to our canine friends and canine companion. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Thank you so much.